It's a pleasure to welcome you to another edition of NAFDAC and Your Health, where you get to know about the activities of NAFDAC as they ensure that only wholesome food products, quality drugs, and approved medical equipment are made available for public use. I am your host, Amanda Ugo. Today on NAFDAC and Your Health, we are basically focusing on capacity building, enhancing Nigeria's preparation for the manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and excipients to promote local drug manufacturing. First, we'll bring you highlights from the Capacity Building Workshop and International Conference on Harmonization, which took place at the NAFDAC office complex recently. And then we'll move on to feature the second regional workshop on manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and excipients in Nigeria, which took place the following week at Marriot Hotel, Ikeja, Lagos. The current Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, has since the inception of her headship of the regulatory agency striven to make Nigeria self-sufficient in terms of food and drug production. In addition to this, she has also vigorously pursued her vision of entrenching food and drug security in Nigeria. This has seen her putting in place proactive policies and strategies. Part of this is the 5+5 policy, and today, to a great extent, Professor Mojisola Adeye's team in this regard has come to fruition and exponential progress continues to be made by the day, particularly on drug security. This drive informed a 3-day workshop on local manufacturing of APIs and excipients in October 2023. The encouraging impact of the workshop led to another of such workshop. This was the Capacity Building Workshop and International Conference on Harmonization. The focus of the workshop, which gathered manufacturers from the drug production sector, was to enhance local drug production and active pharmaceutical ingredients with special attention to good manufacturing practice and quality requirements.
Whatever NAFDAC is doing, it's not because NAFDAC wants to be harsh. It's because of our safety. Because we use medicines, all our regulated products. We use them in one form or the other. And again, I would like to encourage our manufacturers to continue what they started years ago, 5-6 years ago, because that was what led us to where we are. Is the cooperation between the manufacturers and NAFDAC, the willingness to change. We are talking of change control, change management, because on the long run we are going to maturity level 4 and world listed authority. And it is not just because we want to get to a level, it is because we want to ensure that the products that our people use are of quality, they are safe, and there will be efficacy. But more importantly for our manufacturers is, on the long run, they're going to benefit a lot. Because if you have quality in your product, built into it, development, it will be acceptable worldwide. Does that mean all the 180 manufacturers will get there at the same time? No. But we start step by step, one manufacturer, 10 manufacturers, I would say 10 at a time. Because it's not just quality, it's not just the safety, which is fundamental. It is also being able to play in the global arena. So it is block by block, these building blocks that we have been putting together that led us thus far. And I want to thank everybody, our staff. I cannot say too much because we have gone through a lot, we are going through a lot. Because we combine the job of 2-3 people, because we have to keep moving, I want to thank our officers, and all this I believe is going to not just individual development, but of course where we are going.
Mrs. Colette Ifudu, the quality manager of NAFDAC, speaks further on the purpose of the workshop.
This training exactly is coming at a very important time. It's a regional workshop and it's on sustaining the development of medicines, not just for Nigeria, but for our region. So it's actually a regional conference and it's based on capacity building, trying to build our competence in the knowledge of ICH requirement. That's the International Conference on Harmonization.
The training was specifically centered on two areas, ICHQ1 and ICHQ7. Mrs. Colette Fudu explains the reasons the training was concentrated on these areas.
Now that the country wants to get into manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients, the agency deemed it very wise to get into this area so that we'll have the knowledge, the prerequisite knowledge to get into the business of API manufacturing. So for this conference, we have people from the industry.
Dr. Jared Alclair, the Dean, School of Professional Studies, Northeastern University, from the Northeastern University, United States of America, was the facilitator at the workshop.
And lastly, performance qualification, PQ, IQ, OQ, PQ. Documented verification that the equipment and ancillary systems as connected together can form effectively and reproducibly based on the approved process method and specifications. In the world in which I exist, for large molecules and biotechnological products, PQ is a hard one because we're stitching together different equipment from different manufacturers oftentimes that require extensive performance qualification. So what are the approaches to process validation? It's the documented evidence that the process operated within established parameters can perform effectively and reproducibly to produce the intermediate or API, and it meets predetermined specifications and quality attributes.
Participants at the workshop included drug manufacturers from within Nigeria and other countries, NAFDAC staff, and other stakeholders.
I'm actually coming from a one-time certified, GMP certified company. That's as Evans Medical, and we've done, like, we've had a lot of trainings on CGMP, even taking over as Evans Baroque. So it is actually a further eye-opener. Being current with the quality requirements is something that we cannot overrate.
NAFDAC and Your Health continues shortly.
NAFDAC has observed with dismay the wanton illegality of unlicensed vendors peddling drugs to unsuspecting members of the public, despite efforts aimed at tackling the menace of drug hawking. NAFDAC hereby advises the general public to desist from buying drugs from these merchants of death. Drugs sold by hawkers are fake, counterfeit, and substandard. The hawkers expose the drugs to inclement weather, which degrades their active ingredients since they are stored in conditions that render drugs poisonous. The drugs could therefore damage the liver and kidney or lead to the death of the consumer. Drug hawkers constitute threat to our national security. Hawking of drug is one of the main causes of drug abuse, as victims continue to fetch drugs from unregistered and unregulated hawkers. Consequently, drug abusers soon succumb to the dilemma of depression, personality disorders, suicidal thoughts, mental disorder, sleep problems, organ failure, damaged immune system, memory loss, anxiety, social and economic problems. NAFDAC hereby warns those involved in the nefarious act of hawking drugs to desist from this illegal act or face the wrath of the law. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. You are still watching NAFDAC and Your Health.
In furtherance of the efforts to consolidate on enhancing Nigeria's readiness to commence fully the manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and excipients, and also build quality and GMP into the process, the activity that had commenced earlier by a capacity building workshop climaxed in the following week into the second regional workshop on manufacturing of active pharmaceutical ingredients and excipients in Nigeria, developing guidelines and regulations. The workshop themed Unlocking the Healthcare Value Chain, held as a result of the collaboration among NAFDAC and other bodies like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the World Health Organization, Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, among others. Delivering her opening address, the Director General of NAFDAC began by emphasizing the significance of convergence into bringing about the desired advancement in the pharmaceutical sector.
It takes a village to raise a child, and that is the reality that the pharmaceutical world is facing today. It takes convergence to make things happen. It takes convergence to make regulatory science and pharmaceutical manufacturing, medical products manufacturing in general happen. About 6 years ago, I challenged the pharmaceutical manufacturers to look inward. I never realized that there was going to be a pandemic. The pandemic gave us a kick in our behind that we are too addicted to importation. There is nothing wrong with importation of medical products, but we became addicted. And once you have an addiction, common sense goes out of the window, so to say. Things that appear simple becomes almost non-reachable. But the manufacturers responded and decided that there should be more local manufacturing of FPP and raw materials. I want to recognize the manufacturers that are here today because they took the challenge and they've never looked back. We are fortunate in NAFDAC to have ministers of health, the coordinating minister of health, Professor Ali Pate, and the coordinating minister of state for health, Dr. Alausa, that have a very sharp focus on unlocking the value chain. We started the unlocking of the value chain 6 years ago. So when they came last year, we got a boost. When you talk of access to medicine, then you have to unlock the healthcare value chain. When you talk of quality of medicines, you have to put local manufacturing side by side. I want to thank, most importantly, our legislators. 5 years ago, the 9th Assembly caught the fire in the belly of NAFDAC, that they're going to support us to get to maturity level 3. And indeed, we got to maturity level 3. We are going to maturity level 4 and world listed authority. And I believe strongly that the 10th Assembly will support NAFDAC. That's why they are here. We had 2 series of workshops last week on quality of medicine, all about quality. One was on stability. If you make medicine and they're not stable, it's a matter of time. They're going to start killing the patient slowly. If you have an active ingredient and you don't know how to make them such that they will perform their function, it is garbage in, garbage out. So it's all about quality.
The representative of the World Health Organization in Nigeria, Dr. Walter Kasali Colombo, in his speech, heartily commended NAFDAC on the exponential progress made in the Nigerian drug manufacturing and regulatory sector in the last few years.
Let me use this avenue to really acknowledge, first of all, the achievement of the country in the pharmaceutical manufacturing and the regulatory sector in the last few years. From achieving maturity level 3 in the WHO global benchmarking of regulatory system to the WHO pre-qualification of NAFDAC quality control lab and the achievement of the first pre-qualified medicine in West Africa, the zinc sulfate dispersible tablet. I also want to congratulate NAFDAC for the proactive vision in organizing this series of workshops on active pharmaceutical ingredients. This is coming at the right time, as I know that some companies have already initiated plans for manufacturing APIs locally. The workshop will empower them with the right knowledge and tools for the manufacturing of APIs and the regulatory requirements. This proactiveness of NAFDAC is a true characteristic of an agency that operates a stable, well-functioning, and integrated regulatory system as indicated on the ML3 in WHO global benchmarking. This is also essential to tackle the menace of substance falsified, fake, and counterfeit products, as well as keeping all of us safe.
Other speakers at the event included Dr. Jude Umokeke, Vice President, USP and Program Director, PQM+, Mrs. Funke Falade, who represented Mr. Kolawole Owoduni, the Executive Director and Chief Investment Officer, Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, and Honorable Uchenna Okonkwo, who represented the Chairman, Federal House of Representative Committee on Food and Drug Administration and Control.
As we gather here today, it is imperative to emphasize the need for backward integration in our pharmaceutical industry. Supporting local industries and harnessing our rich natural resources are crucial in finding sustainable solutions to the healthcare challenges we face. Our blessed environment provides a wealth of opportunities for the development of APIs and excipients, which are vital components in the manufacturing industry. We must look inward, explore our natural resources, and invest in research and development to unlock the full potential of our healthcare value chain. By doing so, we can reduce our dependence on imported pharmaceutical ingredients, create jobs, and foster economic growth. The House of Representatives stands firmly in support of these initiatives.
First of all, I would like to, on behalf of the House and on behalf of Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, Mr. Speaker, to commend the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, on this initiative. You know, this is the second time, so it means that it's been institutionalized, which we're very happy about. And the fact that the House Committee on NAFDAC, you'd see the Deputy Chairman had also made remarks to the effect that the House fully supports what is going on here today. The House support the initiative and would ensure that we follow up with effective legislative oversight to make sure that these things are achieved.
Honestly, this is the way to go. Right now, we import every API that we use to manufacture medicines in Nigeria. And when you import, it increases your overhead. It makes the medicines very expensive for people to procure. But if we're able to manufacture the APIs here, the money we pay to import, will not be there. Logistics, supply chain, the problems are eradicated. We produce it here, it's easy to get it, and then use it to manufacture the medicines. This is just the way to go.
Dr. Jared Oker, the Dean, School of Professional Studies, Northeastern University, USA, was also there on the third and last day of the workshop to speak on technology, transfer, and scale-up in the active pharmaceutical ingredients manufacturing.
Essentially, the goal is to reproduce the same product, the same quality and efficacy as demonstrated during development and clinical trials, or for whatever reason, other reasons you might be engaging in tech transfer.
That's our package on this edition of NAFDAC and Your Health. You can also be part of NAFDAC's efforts to curb the activities of peddlers of unwholesome food products, fake drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment by supplying NAFDAC with any information on these criminals.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Do not be part of criminal activities like producing, importing, marketing, distributing, advertising, or selling of unwholesome food products, fake drugs and cosmetics, and unapproved chemical and medical equipment. These acts pose great danger to the health of Nigerians. Till we come your way again next week, where we shall bring another insightful package, please stay safe.